I didn't expect to be called to an alien throne room, especially not alone. The message had arrived without warning, an encrypted transmission routed through every official channel on Earth. It contained only a single request. A human representative is required at once. No explanation. No negotiation. Just coordinates. And somehow my name. My name is Adrian Cole. I'm not a soldier, not a diplomat, not even a politician. I'm a xenolinguist, someone who studies alien languages and cultures. The kind of person who usually works behind a desk. Not someone who stands before queens. Yet there I was, stepping into a transport vessel bound for the most powerful alien empire humanity had ever encountered, the Arendari Dominion. No one told me why they chose me, but I had a feeling. It wasn't going to be a simple conversation. 2. The Empire of Silence. The Arendari were different. Most alien species humanity had met were curious, cautious, even friendly in their own ways. The Arendari? They were silent. They rarely spoke, rarely negotiated. And when they did, entire systems listened. Their empire stretched across dozens of star systems, built not on chaos, but on absolute control. They weren't conquerors in the traditional sense. They didn't destroy worlds. They absorbed them. Quietly. Efficiently. And once a system became part of their dominion, it never left. Humans had avoided direct contact for years. Not out of weakness, but out of uncertainty. No one understood them. And what you don't understand, you fear. 3. Arrival. The moment our transport entered Arendari space, everything changed. Their ships surrounded us within seconds. Sleek, black, silent. No warnings. No threats. Just presence. We were escorted, guided to their capital world. A planet covered in towering structures that pierced the clouds like blades of glass. Everything was symmetrical, precise, controlled. Even the air felt ordered. I was met by tall figures clad in smooth, dark armor that reflected no light. They didn't speak. They simply gestured. And I followed. Because what else could I do? 4. The throne room. The throne room was enormous. A vast chamber carved from some unknown material that shimmered like polished obsidian. Rows of alien nobles lined the sides. All watching. All silent. At the far end, elevated above everyone else, she sat. The princess. Her presence was unmistakable. Unlike the others, her armor was lighter, more intricate, almost ceremonial. Her skin held a faint silver hue, her eyes glowing softly like distant stars. She wasn't just powerful. She was aware of everything, including me. As I approached, the silence deepened. I could feel it pressing against me, waiting, judging. Then she spoke. 5. The question. Her voice was calm, measured, but it carried across the entire chamber without effort. Human. I stopped a few steps away from the throne. Yes. She studied me for a long moment, then asked the question that would change everything. Why do humans fear us? 6. The weight of truth. The room didn't move, didn't breathe, didn't blink. Every eye, every presence was focused on me. I could lie, give a diplomatic answer, say something safe, something that wouldn't offend them, but something in her gaze told me that wouldn't work. She didn't want a safe answer. She wanted the truth. And somehow, I knew she would know if I lied. So I took a breath and spoke. 7. The answer. Because you don't act like anyone else. A ripple moved through the chamber. Not sound. Something else. The princess tilted her head slightly. Explain. I swallowed. Most species we've met, they're emotional, reactive, predictable in certain ways. And we are not.
No.
I met her gaze. You're controlled, calculated, silent. That is a flaw. It's unfamiliar. I paused, then added the part one knew would matter. You don't show intention. The room seemed to tighten. The princess leaned forward slightly. Continue. 8. The core of fear. When humans encounter something powerful, I said carefully, we try to understand it. That is logical.
Yeah.
But understanding requires signals, emotion, reaction, something we can read. And we do not provide these.
No.
I shook my head. You expand your empire without warning. You speak only when necessary. You show no weakness, no anger, no joy. I hesitated, then finished. That makes you impossible to predict. Silence. Deeper than before. Then she asked, and that creates fear? I nodded. Yes. 9. The unexpected reaction. The princess leaned back slowly. Her expression didn't change much, but something in her eyes shifted. Humans fear what they cannot predict. Yes. And yet you came here. I let out a small breath. I didn't have much choice. A faint ripple passed through the nobles. Was that amusement? The princess's gaze sharpened slightly. And if you did have a choice?
I thought about that.
About the fleet that had escorted us. About the silence. About the unknown. Then I answered honestly. I still would have come. 10. The moment of change. That was when the atmosphere shifted. Not dramatically, but enough. The princess studied me with renewed interest. You fear us, but you do not avoid us. Fear doesn't always mean running. Explain. It means being careful, paying attention, trying to understand. She was quiet for a moment, then asked, and do you understand us? I shook my head. Not yet. 11. The truth that shocked them. She leaned forward again. Then tell me, human? Her voice lowered slightly. What do you believe we are? I hesitated. This was the dangerous part. The part where everything could go wrong. But I had already come this far. So I said it. I think you're afraid too. The room reacted instantly. Not with noise, but with tension. Sharp, focused, dangerous. The princess's eyes locked onto mine. Explain. 12. Turning the question. You built an empire based on control, I said. Efficiency. Order. Silence. Yes. But you avoid unpredictability. Her expression remained unreadable. Continue. You don't express emotion because emotion creates uncertainty. And uncertainty is inefficient. Exactly. I took a breath. But that also means you avoid anything you can't control. The room felt like it was holding its breath. And humans, I added quietly, are very hard to control. 13. Silence in the throne room. This time, the silence was different. It wasn't tense. It wasn't judgmental. It was thoughtful. The princess leaned back slowly. Her gaze didn't leave mine. You believe we fear you. I think you're cautious of us. Because we are unpredictable. Yes. She was quiet for a long moment. Then, for the first time, a small smile appeared. 14. The princess's decision. Your answer is unexpected. I get that a lot. Another ripple moved through the chamber. Definitely amusement this time. You speak with honesty, she said. I try. And courage. I'm mostly just nervous. Her smile widened slightly. Fear and courage often coexist. I nodded.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. She stood from her throne. The entire chamber reacted instantly, every noble lowering their head. Human Adrian Cole, she said. Yes, you have given us something rare. What's that? Perspective. 15. A new understanding. She stepped down from the throne, walking toward me. The distance between us closed slowly. You fear us because you do not understand us. Yes. And we avoid you because we cannot predict you. Also yes.
She stopped just in front of me.
Then perhaps the solution is simple. I raised an eyebrow, which is, she extended her hand. We begin to understand each other. 16. The beginning of change. I looked at her hand, then at her, then back at the silent room watching us. A moment that would likely be recorded for generations, all resting on a single decision. So I reached out and took her hand. It was warm,
steady, real.
And in that moment, something shifted, not just in the room, but between two civilizations. 17. The answer that echoed. Later, historians would write about that day, not as the moment humans faced the Arendari, but as the moment both sides admitted something important. Fear wasn't weakness. It was the beginning of understanding. Because when the princess asked, "Why do humans fear us?" she expected a simple answer. What she got instead was the truth. And the truth didn't just shock her. It changed everything. 18. Epilogue. Beyond fear. Weeks later, I stood on a balcony overlooking the Arendari capital. The same towering structures. The same perfect symmetry. But something felt different. Beside me, the princess spoke quietly. Humans still fear us.
Yeah.
And we still find you unpredictable. That's fair. She glanced at me. But we are learning. I smiled. Same here. She looked out over her world. Perhaps fear is not something to eliminate. Maybe not. Perhaps it is something to understand. I nodded.
Yeah.
And for the first time, the silence between us didn't feel unknown. It felt shared.